you have, okay, after you must have elicited your requirements, analyzed the requirements, then you begin to write out the requirements in user stories, acceptance criteria. You begin to model your requirement. You don't just do all of that and then you hand it over to the engineering team to begin to build. No, you are taking leadership in giving guidance and direction to the engineering team. When the engineering team builds and what they build is not in line with the documentation you have given as a business analyst, you are in the right position to tell the engineer, to tell the developers that what you've done is not in line. Hence, you basically built a bug, or there's a bug in the process, or there's a bug in the solution. You will need to change this and this. And that is where review comes in. You review what the engineering team has done in the course of a sprint or in the course of a development cycle, right? So we are involved in driving that change. We don't just take the back seat and allow engineering to implement. Sometimes even during implementation, an engineering, a developer could reach out to you and say, please, I'm not really so clear on what you mean here. Can you please help clarify on this particular requirement statements that you have made? So we are involved in driving the change. And then we are also involved in facilitating collaborations. What do I mean? Engineering might think a different thing, why the business might think another thing. It is our duty to ensure there is synergy, right? There is effective understanding. So we are facilitating collaborations with stakeholders. If you need to drag the business and engineering to a call and see how to facilitate effective alignment and understanding of what needs to be done, you will have to do that as a business analyst. So these are just on a typical surface, high level, what we do as a business analyst. There are different other things we do in details, but this just kind of summarize all of the things we do as business analysts. Now, what are some of the misjudgments about business analysis, right, that people have about business analysis? Because people feel when you see business analysis, they feel maybe it's the same thing as business analytics. They also think it's the same thing as business development because we have business in all of them, even most especially business analysis and business analytics. These three career fields, even data analyst or data, these 3 or 4 career fields are exactly different from each other. They're different from each other in the sense that as business analysts or in business analysis, we are focused on understanding the need, right? We are focused on the functions and processes of that need and also what will be the best solution for it. Whereas in business analytics, is more focused on data and reporting. Everything that is done in business analytics is all about data and reporting. How do we mine data? How do we clean that data, right? Same thing with data analysis. How do we mine data? How do we clean the data? How do we prepare the data? How do we transform that data into actionable insights? And then we come up with a report, right? So business analytics or data analysis has to do with data and reporting to examine past business performance and thereby predict future business performances. Now, another difference as well is that in business analysis, we rely both on qualitative and quantitative data. What do I mean by qualitative data? We rely on data that are provided firsthand by the business or by stakeholders, right? Data we get from interviews, from workshops, from focus group. We rely on those data. We also rely on quantitative data, right? Data we get from data sources, right? But in business analytics or data analysis, it is much more focused on quantitative data, which is statistical data, data that is gotten from maybe we spool a data from the database or from the back end, or we get a data from the marketing team or from the sales team. We now use the sales data or marketing data to see how to understand trends, customer trends, and all of that, right? So business analytics or data analytics is much more involved in statistical or quantitative data. But as a business analyst, we do more of qualitative data and also less of quantitative data. Now, in business analysis as well, we use several tools and techniques to solve our problem. If you look at the business analysis body of knowledge, which is the BABOK version 3, if you look at it, you see almost 100 and something techniques and tools that we use to solve problems in business analysis. But in business analytics or data analysis, we basically rely on technological tools like Power BI, like Excel, like Python to write code, like R, like SAP, and what have you, to actually use in mining the data, cleaning the data, preparing the data, and coming up with actionable insights with regards to the data. Also, business analysis does not require a knowledge of coding. You don't need to have knowledge or experience in writing any code to become a business analyst. But if you're into business analytics, right, or data analysis, and you want to be actually sought after, you want to be a good business analytics or data analyst person, you require at least a minimum understanding or level of SQL, right, which is a technical skill you need to learn. So these are basically some of the misjudgment. Many people you see out there, they will write job descriptions for business analysis, and they'll end up putting some of these technical things you must learn. You must have knowledge of Python, or have knowledge of C#, or have knowledge of Java. It basically tells you that the recruiter or the person putting up that job there does not have a deep understanding of what is required of a business analyst. Rather, maybe the person even needs a business analytics candidate and not a business analyst or as a candidate. For business development, that basically has to do with sales. That has to do with bringing in, increasing sales for the organization. So you are more involved in proposals for clients. You are trying to reach out. You are trying to research to understand prospective markets, and also you are more or less like an account manager, a key account manager, or a business development officer, as the case may be. You are much more involved in setting goals and plans for the business, and also revenue growth, and which is largely different from what we do in business analysis. In business analysis, we can basically support business analytics guys, right? Support them in giving better interpretation to their recommendation. We can also support business development officers or business development resource guys in helping preparing the proposals, helping in defining how our solution would work best for our clients, or what the solution is about, so that can help them secure more prospective clients. So how can I basically become a business analyst, or how can you become a business analyst? Aki has spent most of the time today talking us through how to become a business analyst. The most important one, or one of the things there, is for you to grow the passion to solve problems. And simply put, you have to grow that passion for business analysis. If you don't grow that passion, right? If you don't grow that passion for business analysis, if you don't desire to become a business analyst, you end up not taking up this course, right? But first, you need to grow that passion. And on the day-to-day, you begin to nurture that passion with curiosity, with inquisitiveness. So you are inquisitive, you are curious, you want to know more about business analysis, you want to learn business analysis, you want to practice business analysis. So passion is very, very important in actually becoming a business analyst. It's actually the first step you take before you even talk about maybe you want to get a training or you want to get a certification. Growing that passion and hunger, right? Just like when you are hungry or when you are thirsty, imagine you take a walk. Let's say you want to you're coming back from work, right? Using Lagos, for instance, your work is in VI and you live on the mainland. Your work is on the island and you live on the mainland. And on this fateful day, unfortunately, the entire route from island to mainland has been blocked due to traffic. There's no movement, right? And your only option is to take a walk back home. And you take a walk all the way from Lagos Island down to the mainland. On getting home, your hunger will not be for you to will not be for you to dance and shout and begin to jump up and down. You want to take a cup of water. You want to get something to eat. You want to have a rest. So the way you hunger for that cup of water, that cup of cold water, of chilled water, the way you hunger for it, when you're able to replicate that kind of hunger for business analysis, you realize that you just need to ensure you put in the necessary effort and you begin to excel in business analysis. Another thing we need to do when we want to become business analysts is to get quality practical training, not just quality training, but quality practical training. Anybody can sit in front of you and begin to teach you the theoretical aspect of business analysis. I can even recommend you to a video on Udemy or YouTube or Udacity, whereby you have self-paced videos you can just watch at your convenience to learn business analysis. But the unique selling point there, the key thing there is the practical training. So are you willing to have someone that's a training whereby the person is training you and you can ask the person one-on-one question on something that is confusing or not clear to you? And the person is not just giving you theory, the person is actually showing you how this is done by doing it in training, and not just in training, even having sessions with you to walk you through how this is done. So getting practical training is very, very important. It's very important, not just in business analysis, in whatever career you want to switch into, whether you want to switch into development or anything. Practical quality training, quality practical training is key, is very, very important for you, because it will help you to drive home the points that you are learning, that you are acquiring, or the knowledge you are acquiring in that particular field. And then you try as much as possible to get your hands dirty. Aki made mention of getting your hands dirty. If you don't practice, you can never become good. You can never grow. You can never understand it better, because practice makes perfect. Some may argue that practice makes perfection, right? But that is left to the school of thoughts. So gaining hands-on experience, and that is what Learn with Pride will offer you, not just giving you quality training, it gives you that platform, that opportunity to also get your hands dirty. What you've been taught in class, you practicalize it, you are joining meetings, you are working on a project, you are working with a team, you're working on a particular solution, you are writing requirements, you're drawing your models, you are conducting interviews, you're having workshops with your team members, you're having scrum meetings, you are reviewing what the developer has built, and all of those spicy, juicy stuff we do in a typical work environment. We replicate that work environment scenario during the course of the training for you. So you gain hands-on experience, right? It is very important for you. And then mentorship is important. Even after your training, mentorship is very, very important. If you want to travel to Canada, or you want to travel to US, or you want to go out of space, maybe to Mars, and you realize that there is somebody that have gone to Mars, it would be foolish of you to ignore reaching out to that person and say, I don't want that person to tell me how he or she went to Mars. I want to figure everything on my own. You realize that it will take you several years to figure that out. Other than when you basically go ahead and ask that person for guidance. Oh, you've gone to Mars. How did you do it? What kind of aircraft did you use? What was your calculation? What time of the day? What's expectations? What are the things you did? What were the mistakes that you made when you were actually planning for this trip, right? So getting mentorship is one of the secret ways we can help to accelerate our career growth, right? We can all grow in our career, but to accelerate your career growth, mentorship is seen as one of the easiest way to do that for yourself. And then the last one is then you go ahead to secure a job, and then you grow from there. I always have this mantra for myself, and I tell people very close to me that when you are securing a job for the first time in a new career, don't be particular or don't be so much concerned about the pay. That is what I normally tell people, and that's always been my secret, right? When you are securing a job in a new career, don't be so much particular about the pay, because that first job, right, is like a stepping stone for you. One thing recruiters want to know is that this guy works, or this lady works with an organization that he or she knows, and he's working in that organization in that particular role I want to take him for, right? Unlike maybe the role the company you're working with is not a recognizable company. At that point, they begin to ask you a lot of questions. Just for instance, you want to get an accountant, right? Maybe you have a private accounting company and you want to get an accountant, or you want to get an auditor, and you realize that someone that is applying into your audit firm works with PwC. You see at that first glance, right, there is that credibility that comes with that person's application, even before you interacting or interviewing that person. So getting that first job, don't be so much concerned about how much they will be paying me or thereabouts. Ensuring that you get that first job is one of the secrets to entry into any career field you find yourself. And the most important thing and the lovely thing is that even in Europe or in UK or in America, they're not so much concerned about whether you have how many years of experience when you're getting your first job. Sometimes they ensure they offer a competitive rate. You've seen all of the, I know most of my friends, when I trained for business analysis, those of them that were in UK, they were getting £450 a day jobs in UK, contract job, £450 per day. They're getting £500 per day jobs then in UK. That was as far back as 2016, 2017. They were getting all of those job offers as new business analysts coming into the market. That was because business analyst has always been a high demand, in demand job in the industry. So because of that, companies are willing to pay real money for quality resource. So if you go through the interview process and they see that you have the stuff, you have it within you, they're willing to pay that money to you. So that basically brings me to the last bit of the session, taster session, which has to do with the benefits of being a business analyst. Number one benefit is that being a business analyst is never a dull profession, in the sense that you have one title of being a business analyst, but you wear many professional hats, in the sense that you are a problem solver, in the sense that you are, even sometimes you're working with the technical team to see how to look for technical ways to solve a problem. So you are just a business analyst, but you fall into different umbrellas. You are a change agent, you are a process analyst, you are a solution architect, you are a solution person, and all of that, right? Another beauty of being a business analyst is that the job market is exploding, right? Currently, in the IT world, there is shortage of resource in every capacity, because startup companies are springing up by the day, and there is demand. If you realize now that most startup companies even pay higher than the unicorn companies we have out there, because startups want to see how to entice brilliant minds into their organization. So the job market is exploding by the day, right? Another one is that you have opportunity to earn very well. It's a competitive market. You are not going to be earning the salary that a typical customer service officer earns if you're a business analyst. So if you are an entry-level customer service officer and you're an entry-level business analyst, you are basically going to earn way higher than such a person in comparison to what the person is earning and what you'll be earning. Same thing with so many other fields, right? Because you're working in the IT industry and they're basically offering one of the best rates that you have in the market. It also gives you independence and flexibility in the sense that you are not just dependent on one particular thing. So imagine, for instance, you're working and your only source of information is one particular stakeholder in the organization. So you are dependent on that particular stakeholder, right? But in business analysis, you work with cross-functional team. You're working with the sales, working with the marketing, working with the engineering, working with the business, working with several teams, right? So it gives you that room for independence, and CEOs and top management give business analysts that room to explore, because your duty is to solve problems. So they give you that free hand to explore different conditions and scenarios to see if you can be able to solve problem for the business. And then in business analysis, it's never a dull moment. You're not doing repetitive, boring, routine like jobs. every day. You, at every point in time, depending on the complexity of the problem that the organization is solving, you find yourself doing interesting and exciting things that will actually make you to think, to put your brain, put your mind to thinking, creativity, being innovative, rather than doing a repetitive. You know that once you go to the office, this is the first thing, this is the thing you do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doing those routine work. Business analysis does not give you the opportunity to be routinized or routine in your day-to-day activity in your place of work. Rather, it gives you room to be innovative, to be creative, to come up with ways to improve the business. And last of it all, the beauty of business analysis is, irrespective of previous experiences you've had in your career, whether you've been a French teacher, rather, or you've been a sales agent, or you've been a pilot, whatever career you've had in the past, there's always a room for you to apply your previous experience and knowledge into business analysis. Reason being that business analysts are seen as subject matter experts or industry experts. So you go and you acquire knowledge about different industries. So you will find out that in your lifetime of business analysis, what you've done in the past, you will need that knowledge to help solve a problem in the future in business analysis. So that basically brings us to the end of the session, or the sneak peek session today. There are a lot of things you're going to learn in the program. So many things. We'll be working the journey together, working hand in hand with you. I love an interactive and vibrant class that are willing to ask questions, to know more. And I'm very much glad to explain everything to you, help you to go through the journey in business analysis. Myself, I started just as you're about to start, right? I wasn't born a business analyst, and I never studied business analysis in school. I even doubt if you have any degree that says business analysis, or any course in university that says business analysis. I'm here to see. But I went through this process you're about to go through today. But the thing was, I had to ensure that I was determined and I put in the work. Today, I have several experiences. I've worked in different industries. I've met several people. I've taken different roles of my current job description as a business analyst or product owner. So that is a vast opportunity that business analysis offers to you. And I can't wait to see you guys in class when we start in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you. Akin, over to you, please.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sure we have questions for Genesis, or general questions. Before we start taking questions, let me call on those who just completed the process, like a couple of those who just completed the process, probably last week or thereabout, just to share their experience as well. What the process is like, what they gain out of the process, if it's any useful to them in any way at all. So I'll call on the first person. Bukola, are you on the call? You can talk. You can unmute yourself and talk.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Olubukola. I just finished with the last cohort for business analysis, and it's been such a great journey. Before I joined the class, I was sorry, one moment, please. Yeah, so before I joined the class, I just finished my master's in international business, and I was trying to land a role in business analysis. And as of that time, it was just studying on YouTube, doing courses on LinkedIn, and all that sort. And I wasn't getting it full time. Then I joined the course, and I must tell you, it's been amazing. Like now, when I've been having a lot of recruiters get in touch with me on LinkedIn, calling me for interviews. And we just finished last week, Saturday. Like some days I have like 5 recruiters calling to schedule interviews, and I'm like, oh, I'll even be the one telling them that, okay, can we do another day because it's a busy day for me. So the job is out there, and they're always looking for business analysts. And I'm also still in the job market, but I mean, compared to what it was 3 months ago, I can definitely say I am definitely not where I was before I joined the course. And Genesis and Mr. Akin are very wonderful. Like, they're always there to help. I'm always sending them messages or calling them or sending, oh, this recruiter just bust me, do a screenshot of their specification and what they're offering, and we go through it and like, oh, this is not bad. So the supporting is just there all the way. And one thing I would like to just say to whoever is joining the course is it sounds like this is a lot and is this real and all that, but if you dedicate your time and everything into it, it pays a lot. Because when I look back and I'm like, oh, am I like, how did I get to know this? There are questions the recruiters would ask me, and because of what we've done during a sprint meeting or what we've done when we were writing a user story, or when Genesis would just go on Azure DevOps and scatter, scatter what we've done. But at the end of the whole process, I always pick something from it and learn. We would have done the user story and you go there and be like, no, that you could have done it this way, do it that way. And it just helps me to learn more. And that process at that time, I might be a bit frustrated, like, oh, I thought I was done with this. But when recruiters are asking me questions that has something to do with that, I'm like, oh, I actually did learn something in this, so it wasn't bad after all. So if you actually put the time to it, it pays. Not just the Saturday lesson, it's the sprint meetings, the behind the scene working of going on the Azure DevOps, talking to your team members. Just talking about the project, it really helps. So I wish everyone the best. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Bukola. Right, before I call on the second person, please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand, and after the second person has spoken, I'll start calling people that raised up there. And Tola, are you on the call? If you're on the call, please unmute yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayatola. I just concluded the last cohort section. First of all, I'm a PhD student, so but I'd been thinking of switching, getting another job while doing my PhD program, and I knew about business analysis. I didn't even partake in the tester course. I just saw it. I followed the recruiter online, and they were asking about where they about people transitioning to tech, and Learn with Pride was mentioned. And so I went through their page, and then I attended the session he had they had on Instagram Live, and so I made up my mind I was going to join the program, and that was it. It's been an amazing journey. I didn't even think I was going to attend the class every Saturday because I have two kids, so I was thinking maybe I'll watch it later. But I actually made up my mind that this was going to be a change for me, even if I'm going to end up having my PhD. But there's nothing wrong with being a business analyst and a PhD in business. So the classes were amazing. I learned a lot and it was interactive. Also, the project for me was the most important part, and I did put my all in it. The project, like Bukola said, was interesting because we were in the same group. Most times I would have thought, oh, I've done a lot of on the user story. And the instructor, Mr. Genesis, would go and change some things. And it was really learning. It was a learning process for me. And also, I made new friends in the process, because on the long run, you would need them, you know, after the class, even while you're doing the project. So the whole experience has been wonderful for me. If there's anything I would say is, if this is really what you want to do, you just need to put in your effort, because by the time the project starts, you have meetings on a weekday. Like and sprint meetings and planning. So apart from your regular Saturday meetings or classes for 3 hours, you do the class, the meetings like 30 minutes, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I know that a lot of us are working, but if this is what you really want, it's good practice experience, because those are things that you would do in the real life, in the real world when you start working officially. So, it's really good for you to take it serious. And I know that at the end of the day, everyone will get the job they want. Mr. Aki and Mr. Genesis, they've been wonderful. So, even if you disturb them anytime, they will respond, as much as they can. I just want to wish everyone the best, and please do the program if you really want a wonderful life-changing experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Tola. Really, really appreciate. Yeah, if you have any questions, please raise your hand up. Jacinta, you raise your hand up.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My question is I have 3 questions actually. I've been waiting for this class since last month because I really want to understand what a BA does, and I'm glad that today I've gotten a very clear explanation from Mr. Genesis. So my question is to Mr. Genesis. The first question is, what are the skills for a business analyst? If you want to be a business analyst, what are those routine skills that you should have? Then my second question is more of like a confirmation, because I was in the project management class yesterday, and from what you have explained, are you saying that we being a business analyst does not really mean taking up a project, but like what the project managers do, but instead we are the ones that would just like how do I put it now, bring up solutions and monitor how our solutions are being carried out. Then my last question is what was the last question again? But just be answering this too. I'll think of the last one. Thank you very much.
Genesis, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jacinta, for that. I really love those questions, right? And they are actually intelligent. So first, what are the skills that business analysts needs, right? I need to have. What do I need to have as a skill to be able to know that I can succeed in business analysis, right? First thing I have to say that if when you see a problem, you have that passion to solve that problem, that is number one skills you need. So problem solving, being able to solve problem, that hunger to solve that. We might not really know how to solve the problem, but there's that desire to solve a problem. That is one good skill that you need to have. Another one is negotiation. When I say negotiation, it's not about you sitting with a client and people start negotiating money. No, negotiation means being able to see how to resolve issues in the place of work. So negotiating your way out of difficult scenarios. If the developer tells you that this is how we can only do this thing, right? You need to know how to negotiate it, in the sense that how can you clarify? So just give me a minute. Let me give you guys an instance. So I like using practical experiences, right, to give an instance. So let me give an example. Something happened in my place of work this week. We are supposed to launch a feature of our solution last week, but because the head of engineering and developers did not get to see the requirements that was written for that solution, so they ended up assuming that the implementation for that solution is complicated, and we need to follow another process to implement it. Now, I spent time with the general manager and the head of engineering trying to tell them that why should we actually implement it this way, and nobody was actually listening to me. So that's why I needed to bring in my negotiation skills. I needed to look for proven ways to actually convince them that doing this was going to be expensive. And what I mean is it's not the best way for us. One of the ways I looked into was I had to look at the cost implication for us implementing that stuff the way they wanted us to implement it, and realize that if we are to implement that stuff in over 2 years period, when we have almost 3,000 customers using that particular feature of our solution, it means that we'll be spending close to almost 500,000 pounds per year just to sustain that implementation. And that is going to eat a lot into the products, right? Another one is I need to look at the compliance impact, right? How complex it will become when we implement that. When we go through the easier technological means of implementing that thing, it's going to create a lot of compliance complexity for the compliance officer to be able to perform EDD, which is enhanced due diligence for our customers. So being able to negotiate, whereby being able to convince people, is one good skill you have. You might not know it at first, but it's something you learn, right? Something you learn as you go ahead. Another one is communication. Remember, I talked about you are there to ensure that there's good understanding, know how to communicate, bringing people together, being concise and clear when you are communicating with your stakeholders. So there are many of them: ability to understand the business, so many skills you can actually have, right? But these are like the key ones. Also, another one is analytical. When I say analytical, it doesn't necessarily mean being able to analyze the data. It's just ability for you to think out, how can this thing be solved? How can we, resolve this issue? Every of us we are all analytical, but we don't really know it, or we don't really give ourselves the credit. We are all analytical. So being able to think out what would be the best way to do this, that is you being analytical, looking at, considering all the conditions, considering different options. So option A, if I should go with option A, what will it result? What benefit are we going to have? Option B, what benefit we are going to have? Option C, option D, and then compare these options in terms of their costs, their benefits, and then make a decision. That is being analytical. So these are like the things we have in us as humans, which we might not really recognize or understand about ourselves until we start business analysis and realize that, oh, I can actually do these things, or I've been doing these things in my day-to-day life. Now, your second question was regards to project management and business analysis, right? So project management and business analysis are two different career fields, but these two guys, they work together. You can never have a business analyst working in limbo. You work in a project. The project manager is to manage that project in terms of cost, resource, budget, time, and all of that. But it is your duty as a business analyst to be hands-on in implementing that project with the technical team. Do you understand? So you are working in project. Having a good understanding of project management also is a plus for you, because you understand in different phases of the project that you are. If it is an agile delivery approach or waterfall, in different phases of the project, you know what is expected of you to do as a business analyst. So there is no there's no disparity, or there's no confusion in that. I think you have a third question or fourth question, if you can remind me.
Okay,
please.
yes, this is my third question. Thanks very much for clarification. Then I always have this disturbance in me.
Yeah.
And you just explained something just now. When the business analyst provides solution for the company, and the tech team, the project management, the Scrum team carries out the solution, why is it that the company still needs a business analyst? Is it that there's always a problem ongoing in every company?
Okay.
Because I can understand the contract BA, but I can understand, is it that the ones that are fully employed,
Yeah.
is it that they are, when they are through it, providing a particular solution,
Yeah.
they will discard them? Or what is the need for them to still be in that company? Is it that there's still more problems? Or that's what I don't always understand about this BA. If you can clarify for me also.
Okay, thank you so much for that. That is an interesting question. The one easier way to answer, I'll answer the easier way, and I'll provide more. I'll give you a detailed answer. One easier way to answer is that a company, after they deliver a solution, they just fold up and say, we've delivered this project, everybody, we are sacking you and you are closing the company. Do they do that, or they take up other projects?
They take off more projects.
So that's why they need business analysts to be there to continue working on not just one project, you're working on every other project they're taking on. That is one easier way to answer that question for you. Another easier way to answer that question for you is that for a business analyst, even when you deliver a solution, your job does not end there. There's what we call solution evaluation, whereby you look at that solution you've delivered and see within a 6 month period, is that solution delivering the value that is expected of it? Do you understand? Not just about solution delivering value. Are there possible ways we can improve that solution? Right? And now also in the tech world, we are not just delivering a solution and we leave that solution. There's what we call version 1, version 2, version 3, right? So at first you might deliver a limited version of that solution. Let me give an example of a product or a software that we are all aware of, WhatsApp. We all know WhatsApp, right? You can't tell me that what WhatsApp, the features we have in WhatsApp 2 years ago are the features we still have to, the features we have on WhatsApp today are the features we had in WhatsApp 2 years ago. You see that for every year or for every release, there's one additional feature or the other. And these features, business analysts are involved in the development of this feature. So because we need to continually improve, it could be improving the business process, it could be improving the solution that exists, it could be improving sales, it could be improving marketing, it could be improving a lot of things. That's why we need business analysts embedded within teams to do that. Now, those companies that contract business analysts, they have permanent business analyst resource. Why they contract might be that they have taken a look at it that, okay, we want to contract to have additional resource to support. Now, that additional resource to support, maybe they just got that's what they want to implement is a contract they've gotten from the clients. So they want, instead of them having an embedded resource and they're not really sure of how frequent their own contracting or client engagement might be, they'll be like, let us contract, use them to deliver. If we have another project, we contract and use them to deliver. But that company, they might have 1 or 2 business analyst resource that is permanent, working in other areas or other projects that has to do with that company. But for specific projects, because they might not want to spend time to have a permanent resource, which after that project might not be needed, they might just choose to contract. But they will surely have a permanent business analysis resource within the team. Does that help to provide?
Yeah, thanks very much for clarifying this. And I think I'm very okay right now. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Jacinta.
All right, thanks. Izzy, please, what's your question?
Hi, mine is straight and simple, really. So I already work in the IT field, but it's more of technical infrastructure engineer. We do well. I just wanted to find out with regards to Word and Excel, what's the level of use on them? Because from technical part, we just don't get to use them. We just fix them and they're broken. So what's the level of knowledge you need in BA?
Is it in terms of Excel?
Yeah, and Word.
Yeah, so in terms of Excel, right, you just need your basic knowledge, right? You are not going to be writing Excel formulas in business analysis. You just need the basic knowledge how to prepare a spreadsheet. Maybe you want to you want to basically make a reporting, right? You can use Excel to do a reporting to management. It's just basic knowledge of Excel. You don't need advanced formula knowledge in Excel. Same thing with but for Microsoft Word, you need some level of improved or advanced knowledge because you might be right, depending on the company you find yourself, if they are going through waterfall, you'll be doing some formal documentations, example being a business requirement document, right? So you need to know how to use Microsoft Word to attach images, paginations, all of those things. So just good level of Microsoft Word. But for Excel, basic knowledge is enough for you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Please, if you have more questions, please kindly raise your hand. While you are doing that, let me take the questions on the chat quickly. Please, would the project be Nigerian project or UK project? The project you'll be working on will be a UK project, but this is not even this is not the most important, what project you're working on. I think the most important to me is you getting the process, because the process is the same everywhere. Whether the project is in Nigeria, whether the project is in UK, whether the project is in Australia, or anywhere, the process is the same. So that's the key for me, to get the process, how it is done. Then you can apply that knowledge on any project. But the project that you'll be working on will be a UK project. What is the payment plan? So the payment plan is to register, you need half payment to register, and the other half will be made into, you can pay the other half in 2 installments. If it's 1 installment you want to do, that's fine. But you have, after paying the half, the other half can be paid in 2 installments. What certification would I get after the course? I'm sure the person that asked this question, probably you joined late. The training, the company, myself and the company, we preach more on the practical and the work experience, right? Certification is something that you can read for in your own quiet time and do the certification. So we don't focus on professional certification, although if you require certification of completion can be given to you by my company, that is no problem. But if you are referring to a professional certification, we don't give none, right? But it's something that you can, subscribe for, pay for, and do it if you still want to go that way of writing certification exam, which I'm not against, by the way. But certification without the right knowledge and experience would just be a waste of money. So I believe in acquiring the knowledge, the experience, then you can think about certification, right? That is what we believe in. So will our practicals cover both predictive and agile environment, process re-engineering inclusive? Genesis, do you want to take that?
Okay, let me read the question again. Let me get, so will our practicals cover both predictive and agile environments, process re-engineering inclusive? So I'll take it that this person have a bit of knowledge about business analysis for you to mention predictive, because predictive, there are only 2 approaches in business analysis, predictive and adaptive, right? So for the sake of this particular program that you'll be working on, right, is going to be agile environment you're going to be doing. Under agile will be using Scrum. So you have all of the Scrum rituals, you have your product owner, you have your testers, your developers, you being the business analyst, you have the Scrum master as well. Just as Tola mentioned that, you'll be having your daily stand-up in the course of the week, during the week, right? Where you give a report of what you did, what you've done, what you're doing, and if there are any blockers for you. So in terms of process re-engineering, you're basically going to be working on a project to build a solution, right? So if we looked at the best possible way that you can actually do something that you can talk a recruiter through it during your interviews. If you just do a process improvement or process and re-engineering project in the course of training, it might not really give you the opportunity to understand business analysis in details as it speaks to tech engineering. The tech space. So building a software, building a solution will give you that platform, that leverage to be able to talk through what you've done in your project, and also, talk about the system you saw, right? Because most times when you do process re-engineering, you might not really see the actual value of that process that you've re-engineered within the next 1 or 2 months. You might end up seeing it after 3 months or 4 months when you've measured it based the previous and the new process. Hope that answers your question, Taiwo.
Thank you, Genesis. Abby, you raised your hand. What's the question?
Yeah, my question is this. I signed up for the Scrum Master course, but after the Scrum Master, I'd like to be a part of this course. I said to Scrum Master last for 2 months. I was wondering, how can I do that and be a part of Scrum Master too? So how can I be a part of Scrum Master and do this one also? So I was wondering, do I have to sign up for the next time you're going to do this before I can be a part of it? Or,
No, it's actually, it depends on how much free time you have, you know. They are not the same day. The business analyst session is on Saturdays. It will be on Saturdays, 9 a.m. UK time on Saturdays. While the Scrum Master one will be Saturday and Sunday as well, but different timing. So for Scrum Master, it will be from, I think, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. UK time, Saturday and Sunday. While business analyst will be 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturdays. So it all depends on you. So like, it's just mean like probably your Saturday will be full of trainings, and again one on Sunday. So it all depends. It can be done together if you have that much free time. So it all depends on you. But there's nothing stopping you from enrolling for both.
that would be kind of difficult, seeing that one is still working to do all those concurrently. When can I ask when the next one is going to be?
That will be January 2023.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah. No problem. If you have any more questions, please raise your hand. Do we need certification along with experience to secure a job, or just with the experience we could acquire a job? With the experience, you can get a job. I'm a living testimony as well. Despite the fact that I've got many certificates in my bag, I've never, since I've been changing jobs, I've never been asked to tender any one of them. Why? Because when they interview you, they can see the level of knowledge you have on the job. So when you have the experience, sometimes certificates, they do bypass, as in ignore that. But that being said, if you are the type, because I know we, especially from Africa, we really like anything certificate, you can still do it in your own free time, just to know that, okay, that case or that chapter is closed. You know, you can do it. Probably foundation is enough for the role you want to do, by the way, anyway. So, and it's not hard to pass. But I can tell you, work experience will get you the job, but only certification without experience will not get you the job. All right. I hope I've answered that. Any other question from anyone? You can still raise your hand, or you can type it on the group chat. So the next course will be starting on the 8th of October, and that will be 9 a.m. in the morning, UK time, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. UK time. And 4 weeks or 5 weeks after the training kicked off, then you start the project as well, whereby you'll be working as part of a team, as part of a Scrum team, where all the agile rituals will be observed as well. So it's gonna be interesting. Emmanuel, you raised your hand. What's the question?
Good morning, you guys. My question really was for the two ladies that gave the testimony.
All right.
I wanted to know, has any of them secured a job upon completion of the course, and what was the process? And then also, I'm really more interested in the Scrum Master, and I would like some details on how to join that.
All right. Those two ladies who spoke just literally finished their training last Saturday, right? And I brought them on the call to give the account of how they perceive or how they think the process went, as in what the benefits out of the process. We've got ex-students who are already working like a cohort before the last one. And you can, even if you go on the Instagram page, you can see their testimonies on the Instagram page as well. Their audio testimonies on the Instagram page as well. But I purposely brought this to you because they literally just finished last week, Saturday, and they've been applying since after that. as you add them. They are still searching, but the visibility is there. Why? Because their CV is done, the LinkedIn optimization is done, and recruiters are reaching out. What is important to me is as long as they are reaching out to you, as long as you keep getting the calls, the job will surely come. But I'll be worried if the calls are not coming in. That is when I get worried. But if you are getting the calls from recruiters and they are scheduling for interviews, surely the job is around the corner. So that is it. For the Scrum Master training will be starting on the 8th, but I think there'll be a shift in that might be shifted to the next weekend due to unforeseen circumstances. I think to the next weekend to that might be 15th or thereabout. I'm not too sure. That will be a 2-month journey. The first month will concentrate purely on practical training. So for that one, it's like you are getting 2 trainings for the price of one. Why do I say that? You'll be trained as a Scrum Master and you'll be trained as a product owner, because you don't only, when you're going to agile world, you should be able to change up as you want. So you won't be limited to just be a Scrum Master. You can do both, either as a Scrum Master or as a product owner. So the course will cover both, right? And that will be for a month. That will be twice a week, 3 hours per session for a month, right? Practical training, which involve a mini project on that first month as well. And the second month, after you've decided whether you want to go way of Scrum Master or you want to go way of product owner, then you'll be placed on a project whereby you act as a Scrum Master or as a product owner for another month, or it might be more than 1 month, depending on the project on hand. I hope I've answered that question, Emmanuel.
Yes, you have. If you don't mind, could I leave you my email? I mean, I know this class really isn't about the Scrum Master, so not to take up everybody's time, I would like details on how to, the payment and registration for that course.
Are you on the group chat?
No, I'm not. Actually, Eze invited me onto the call. I'm not.
All right. Okay, you can drop your email on the chat now.
Sorry, I'll add him on the group chat now. That's
all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can just you can just send his number to me in the admin on the group chat, and I can add, just in case you can't add him.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. All right. Thanks, Emmanuel. Is that all, Emmanuel?
Yes. Thank you for your time.
All right, no problem. Jacinta, you raised your hand again.
Okay, I have one last question. To Mr. Genesis, towards the cost of the project, your explanation, you said that as business analysts, companies come to us. When they come to us, they expect that we should provide some sort of solution. Now, the projects that we'll be undertaking in the course of this, our training, are we just going to be tagging along, or will they give us the room to want to come up with solution, or we'll just be watching how people are just doing their thing? I don't know if you get my question, Mr. Genesis.
So your question, if I'm to rephrase to see if I understand, you're asking if you'll be involved in the solutioning, or you're just going to be supporting or tagging along, right?
Yes, because I don't know, I would like a situation or a room where I can be able to think. Because for instance, now, after the training, when we go out there, we are now placed in the real world. We ought to be thinking for solutions. So I was thinking that I'm not asking that in the course of a training, the live project, are we going to tag along how people develop the solutions, or on our own part, we'll be giving room to see develop some solutions for the project?
Thank you. So in a project, you'll be immersed, you'll be hands-on, you'll be working with your team members in developing that solution. So you're not tagging along, you'll be working with your team member. You'll be able to apply your knowledge that you've learned in class to profile how that solution should work and how it should be built.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Genesis. Do we work on live projects that can be added to a CV? Yes. So the period that you are with us, whether is 2 months, whether is 3 months, a reference will be given for that period. So you can put it on your CV. I hope that has answered the question. All right, any other question before we call it a day? Any final question from anyone? You can either raise your hand or send a message. Jacinta, there you
Sorry,
go.
ask much questions. The date for the program, you said it's October 8th, right? Saturday and Sunday.
No. Project business analyst is only on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay, thank
and
you.
it's starting
Because
on the 8th.
Sundays, we do go to church on Sunday, so that's why I was wondering.
No, it's on
9
Saturdays. No, only on
Thank you
Saturdays.
very much. Yes.
All right. If you have any other question or more question later on, you can message any of the admin, the UK admin on the group chat. And we'll be more than happy to provide solution or answers to any questions. Or you can as well DM us on Instagram at Learn with Pride, and we'll be happy to respond as well. I hope the session has been beneficial. Hope to see you on the ride. And yeah, that's it from me. Thank you, everyone. Oh, Emmanuel.
Yeah, sorry, quick question. This pricing on here, is that the final price? That's the total of how much you pay for this course?
That's for the BA, yes.
Okay.
No,
All
that's
right. Thank you.
Yeah, the price minus the discount.
Minus the discount. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for your time. I hope this session has been beneficial and we've been able to clear 1 or 2 doubts that you might have before joining the session. Reach out to us on Instagram, on the WhatsApp group, and we shall answer any question. Thank you everyone for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And see you on the journey. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.